Nicola, thanks for doing this. This is amazing. Welcome to the
Thank you.
podcast.
Thank you for inviting me.
Absolutely, this is so great. I was reading a little bit of your biography yesterday,
Yeah.
and I was amazed with the fact that you live in Denmark, right?
Yeah, that's true. I live
On a small
most of
island.
the time in Denmark, on an
Yeah.
island called Samsø, and
Uh huh.
but I still spend some
Wonderful.
time in Brussels as well. Where
In Brussels. So
yeah,
you were born and raised in Belgium,
yeah,
and then you moved to Samso is the name of the island, right?
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Samso.
I was born and bred in Belgium, in a city
Mhm.
called Liège,
Mhm.
an industrial city called Liège. I was raised in the suburbs over there, and then
Mhm.
I moved to Brussels when I was like 25 or something,
Mhm.
and then yeah, more recently I moved to Denmark to accompany my girlfriend because she's Danish and we have a
All
child,
right.
and so that's why I
Danish.
moved to that's why I moved
That's
to
why.
Denmark. Yeah,
That's
but
why. Yeah.
I must say that really, yeah, it's been a while now that I feel like, yeah, I don't know if I could say a European citizen, but as well, just but at least, yeah, a European human being, I would say,
Yeah.
and so, not in terms of identity so much, but in terms of lifestyle, in terms of moving from one country to another a bit all the time, because I spent a lot of time in Italy as well. So yeah,
Mhm.
I'm always somewhere in Europe. I don't not always at the same place.
Always traveling around, but I thought. I mean, it's pretty much a remote part where you are right now, no? And living on an island.
Yeah,
I was wondering how is it like, because I can relate a little bit because I also live in a remote place of the world.
yeah.
I am right now in the Amazonian rainforest. No, it's a
Wow.
city, of course, in the Amazonian rainforest, but it's still kind of an adventure living here for me. No, I am from Ecuador. I live in Europe to many years in Germany,
Okay.
around 12 years, and then I came back to my hometown, and
Hmm.
I just fell in love with the jungle, pretty much, and that's why
Yeah.
I decided to come here, also because I'm doing some research and stuff.
Hmm.
And so, but
Amazing.
it's such a
Amazing.
great experience. So what I wanted to hear from you was, how is it like to live on an island? It has to be some sort of a special thing, right? Maybe an inspiration for your music too. Can you tell us a little bit about Samso? What's life on an island?
Yeah, yeah. I'll try to describe it a little. It's a small island, but still
Yeah.
there are something like 3,000 inhabitants here.
Is it?
It's a gathering of something like 10 villages, something like
Mhm.
that. Small villages of 100 or 200 people, and
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, the it's a very nice place. The north of the island is very natural, and yeah, they succeeded in keeping it very pristine and very
Yeah.
natural. The south side
Yeah.
of the island is more dedicated to agriculture, and yeah, and it's a bit too much of an industrial agriculture to my taste.
Yeah.
But the island is very nice, and I'm like I told you, I
Pretty,
traveled.
pretty
Yeah, tell
quiet
me.
too, no? A quiet life. I can imagine like that.
Yeah, it's very quiet, and that's what I was searching for when we moved here, because
Yeah.
I've traveled a lot in Europe, and I played a lot of concerts with my after the release of my first album, and I
Hmm.
think it was in 2017. Yeah, I was really tired and a bit fed up with big cities, and the
Yeah.
all the
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it happened to me too, so that's why I kind of relate that. And I guess, or I suppose, for
Mhm.
writing music, and because you are right, you produce your own music, you record your own music, right?
Yeah.
So it must be also cool, like having this sort of quiet, in a way lonely place to write music and just sit down and enjoy that, right?
Yeah, definitely. It was. It's the island in itself, and the life we are able to lead here was an inspiration for sure. But
Absolutely.
and having a bit of distance from what you know and from where you were raised and from where you used to work, etc. It
Yeah,
gives a lot of it brings a lot of good things in terms of
yeah,
creation, because you're a
absolutely.
bit alone. You don't have all these social contacts that you normally have, and so it
Mhm.
it definitely helped in the process of producing this
Yeah,
second album. Definitely.
yeah, absolutely. We're gonna talk about it. So, um, a quiet life with your family, growing some vegetables and writing music sounds like a big plan for me. It's sort of, I mean, and you can hear that in your music because I was listening yesterday to your music too, and I definitely became a big fan of your music. You know,
Cool.
it's so
Yeah.
relaxing in a way, you know, but it also has some edgy parts. You know, it's simple, it's organic, but it also has a lot of, I don't know. Uh, Modern sounds, I would say. Yeah, so
Yeah,
how would you
definitely.
describe your own sound? What's like the best definition for your own sound? What are some of your influences? How would you describe your own sound?
Yeah. um, Difficult exercise, of course, but I would say that I try to be truthful. I would say maybe that's the best way I can sum up what I do. I try to be truthful to what I am and to what I live and what I feel, and so I don't want to be. I try to avoid to be put in a box, or one box or another, and in my work I try to remain open and flexible to what's coming, and
Mhm.
yeah, I always loved artists like I could say Neil Young because I think of him like right now, but I could say Lou Reed or Bob Dylan or
Oh yeah,
and some others who are able to write and to sing very moving and quiet love songs, for example, but who are
yeah,
also like crazy rock and rollers. And
yeah, yeah.
I think if you want to be honest, you cannot just be in love all the time, or just to be angry and pissed off all the time. So sometimes I'm in love, sometimes I'm pissed off, and in my music you can hear that, I think.
You can hear that. Yeah, absolutely. It's a very nice mixture of all those genres, of all those
Yeah, I
sounds.
mean,
You can hear the '60s a little bit, new
yeah,
wave in some other songs, rock and
yeah,
roll, and
yeah.
and really nice melodies. So you kind of study music? Did you make a life out of music, or are you an
Yeah, I started
yeah,
to play music when I was a teenager, like everybody does in a way. And I don't know, I
yeah,
was like 13 or something. I'm not a trained musician in an academy or something. I just learned listening to records and
play by
stealing.
ear?
Yeah, by ear, and stealing licks and tips from friends who were better than me, and and yeah, like the very intuitive and very instinctive way to learn. I was so obsessed by music when I was a teenager. It
Yeah,
was like really like a gateway. To another world, and I needed that because it was not so funny, and so yeah, I really digged into it 100%, and just learn the way I could, and yeah, and over the years it became my trade in a way, because I maybe 10 years ago I started to learn a lot about production, and
yeah,
about sound, and so now I'm more. I try to do everything myself, and that's how I really became, I don't know, I don't know to put it, but before that, when I used to go in studios and I had the clock running, and I was stuck in this very clean process of, going there during the day and then going home, and then I was not so, I could do cool things, but I really discovered myself and discovered my
Yeah.
way when when I was able to buy a bit of material, a bit of gear, and then I was
Mhm.
able to start to record myself everywhere, and then like in field recording. Process, and then I really started to find things maybe a bit more interesting.
That's awesome. And what's your main instrument, or would you say you are a multi instrumentalist?
Yeah, I would say that, but I would say I'm mostly a vocalist, like a
Yeah.
singer. That's what I've done for the longer, and yeah, so I would say that. But I play guitar, I play the bass, and I can play the
Yeah.
keys as well. But it's never for me. It's just a mean to go where I want to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. I could not. I don't think I really master these instruments, but I can make a record. I can record, yeah, some tracks.
Awesome. Um, Talking about your albums, your first album, your debut album came
Yeah,
in 2016,
exactly.
and your second album will be released this year, right in September to
Yeah, yeah,
2020.
exactly.
And
Yeah, yeah. In a
the
few
first
months.
single is already online. Let's say
Yeah,
Harvesters. It
yeah,
was
yeah.
released.
So far
Mhm.
I think we have three songs.
Mhm.
Three songs of the albums are already out. There is Harvesters, which was out in
Yeah.
April, and then Nos Retrouvailles is a song in French, and we released it, I think, in June, and Parrot was released today.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to say. Parrot is July 22nd. Today is the release date of Parrot,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah, definitely, yeah.
So people can go and can already check it out on on social media. I guess, are you everywhere on
Yeah, on
social?
Spotify, on on every platform, the track is there.
Yeah, Parrot. Nice little track. Is the story behind the name also caught my attention? Parrot.
Yeah, it's
Uh,
yeah. Maybe you have parrot in the jungle over there.
Absolutely, that's why it caught my attention,
No,
and the
it's
sound
funny
is also
because I
great.
wrote this song quite a long time ago, and when I
Yeah,
was working on the first album, actually. So there's a bit of recycling here, but yeah, it's one of the songs that used to really catch people attention during the concerts
yeah.
of the first tour. But
Pretty
I
groovy too, no? The rhythm is pretty nice. I'm a really like a groovy guy, and so that's why I love it, I guess.
Cool, cool. Yeah, very appreciated. But yeah, and but it took me a lot of time to find the right arrangements for this song, and
Yeah.
yeah, the right mood, and it's very simple, but it was, I don't know, the different elements. I never succeeded in making them fit together. And then 1 year ago, I finally cracked the code for this song and for this arrangement, and so yeah, it feels good to release it today, and it feels good to throw it into the world. And I think, yeah, the thing with Parrot was, it was inspired. I was in Brussels and I was looking through the window, and there was a
Yeah.
parrot just in the trees, above in the trees in the street.
Uh-huh.
Because strangely enough, there are a lot of parrots in Brussels.
Uh-huh.
It's not a tropical place at all, but
No.
they, there was something happened. I think like 15 or 20 years ago, and a guy from a zoo or something just just let a flock of parrots go into the wild, and so they reproduce themselves quite a lot. And so now in the parks in Brussels, you have many parrots, and so that's what I chose this title. And then the sentence came that, listen to the words that the parrot says and try to repeat, like an inversion in the hierarchy of things. Normally it's the parrot repeating the words of human, and here it's the opposite way around. And that's yeah. Then I continued and played around this idea.
Yeah, sounds awesome. And you are also part of a collective, a record company, so to say. Can you tell us a little bit about that? How often are you in Brussels actually? And tell us a little bit about
Yeah.
your record company, your record deals.
Yeah. I'm part of a pretty cool label called Capitan Records, and
Label, yes.
Capitan Records is it's a collective of people working in the same area, I would say. And like, you have graphic designers, we have of course many musicians and sound engineers, and
Nice.
we try to unite our forces to
Yeah.
create stuff, to make records, and to spread the word as well about what we do collectively. And to
Absolutely.
answer your question about Brussels, I must say that I live on Samsø most of the time, but I'm still regularly in Brussels to be part of the and to be active in the label, and to play concerts when it was when it was allowed. And
Mhm.
yeah
Yeah.
so yeah I travel back and forth, but I would say that maybe I'm 2 months in Samsø, and then I go for 3 weeks in Brussels, and then I'm back, and that kind of schedule.
Yeah. That sounds great. So both of your albums, they were released on this record
No,
label, right?
actually, to be accurate, the first album at the
Mhm.
time in 2016, the collective was already. I mean, it was existing. It was there, but it was not formalized into
Oh, okay.
into a
Okay.
precise record label. So the first album was released on a French label called Tôt ou Tard, and but the second one will be, of course, released on Capitan Records.
Mm-hmm. That sounds great. How would you say? Talk a little bit about the evolution of your sound. If you
Yeah.
compare kind of
Mhm.
the sound back in 2016, or maybe even 10 years ago,
Mhm.
how how has your music evolved during this
Mhm.
time?
Mm, I would say that this second album is really the continuation of the first one.
Mm-hmm.
That they could fit together, and it's the same movement, I would say. But the first one was more. Um, it was more a trip and an exploration. I was still
Mhm.
learning a lot about how to record and how to arrange, and so it was much more me exploring different ways and different songs,
Mhm.
and try to make a piece of work that stands. And so that's why for the first album, I think I had written like 25 songs, or 22, 23 songs, and I
Quite a
tried
lot.
to. Yeah, it was a lot for just one album, but I needed that to
Mhm.
experiment. And it was the same with the musicians. I tried different versions of every track with different musicians, and it took a lot of time to achieve, etc. So the process for the first album was much longer and much harder than for the second album. The second album was more, I was I arrived on Samsung. I wrote a few songs during the springtime, and
Hmm.
I some others during summer. And then when fall and winter came, I just went directly into the recording process. And beginning of spring, maybe in February or March 2019, it was finished. And so
Hmm.
it was much more direct as a process. And maybe because I was playing almost every instrument myself, and I knew much more where I wanted to go.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, but do you still enjoy playing your own songs? Because I think
Mhm.
there is when I mean I'm also a musician. We also
Yeah.
have like this song that we always remember and we always like to play. Do you have like a song that you really enjoy playing?
That's a good question. I have the feeling sometimes that that the trade of musician has changed quite a lot the past 5 years.
Yeah,
But of course it didn't. But as I see it, it changed for me, because now
yeah,
I'm more and more in like a recording artist all of the time. You
yeah,
know, if I play music,
yeah,
it's most of the time because now the concerts are all cancelled. And
yeah.
so my only way, really, to my only goal when I play music is to record it. And so I envision myself more and more as a recording artist and as a
Mhm.
producer of music and of sound, than really just a musician playing for the sake of it. So I
Yeah.
was yeah, it has changed a bit. But I must say that I would like to, having done this now, this second album, almost all by myself. I really want
Mhm.
to go backwards now, and I really want to go back to something more collective and more live, without overdubs, etc. So
Mhm. Mhm.
we played the songs of the album a few weeks ago with the band, and recorded like a live performance in the studio. And it was so exhilarating, and so it was so
Absolutely.
much fun that I really want to do the next one like that with the band and in the same room.
Yeah. Hopefully, it's not going to take too long. You know, things are pretty crazy now around the world. Are there any COVID cases on Samsung actually?
I must say that Denmark and Samsø is really a safe place regarding
A safe place. Okay.
COVID.
You also choose a good place to live then, in
Yeah,
terms of health issues now around the world.
yeah, that's true. But that's not really my, how to put it. But since the COVID breakout, and
Yeah.
uh, I don't know how to put it, but I'm churning some feelings of. I mean, I'd like to get involved in trying to find solutions in one way or another, because I think I'm not. I'm of course just a citizen talking here, but I'm really like
Yeah.
so many of us. So I'm concerned about the way
Absolutely.
things are, and
Yeah.
and so I'm really not in the trip of just staying on my island and having some good time while the world is is going to a
Yeah.
disaster. So I'm yeah, just right now I'm just thinking of going back to Brussels more, and maybe and yeah, throw myself in the fight in a way, because
Mhm.
I think I'm a citizen amongst so many others
Yeah.
who are fighting for justice, and I don't want
Yeah.
to. I don't want to protect myself or by staying here, or I think the world has really changed since the COVID,
Yeah.
and
Totally.
so I think I have to update as well my
Yeah.
endeavors.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I totally agree with you. The only thing that sometimes I think is like, I also think there is something I can do,
Yeah.
but at the same time, the world is just so polarized now
Yeah.
that no matter what you say, you're gonna be judged for what you say, and there's going to be somebody that totally disagrees with you.
Mm.
So get into politics is something like a, oh gosh, I don't really want to do that,
Yeah, yeah,
so
yeah.
I don't know what's the solution. It's really hard. There's a lack of leadership, of course, but
Mhm.
then if you kind of start doing something about it, then it also can get a little bit complicated. So
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah, for
not
sure.
easy.
And I don't want to, it's just a personal feeling, and of
Yeah,
course,
yeah,
you could say that from everywhere you stand, you can change things in the right
yeah,
way or wrong way. So of course, I could stay on Samsung and do
yeah,
good things for others and good things
yeah.
for the world staying here.
I
But
mean, yeah, yeah. Music, art is already a way to help a little bit in a way, I think.
yeah,
And
yes, of course it is, and I think to try to make honest music for the good
yeah,
reasons, and not just for commercial success or whatever,
absolutely.
and to keep up with this ethic.
Yeah,
Of course, it makes sense, but I'm also, I think, yeah, things have changed in the way that I feel that we are during many years, the globalized capitalism or whatever you call it,
mhm,
was like, it seemed really unstoppable. It
mhm,
was really
mhm,
like you could not do nothing against it because it was just
yeah,
the rule in the
yeah,
world. But now I can see more and more movements and that are maybe a first step to a post capitalism for a world that would go into
okay,
something else. And I think it's urgent if we want to
yeah,
save the planet. And so, yeah, I think it's very appealing to me right now to weigh in the right side of the balance. I don't know if it's
yeah.
very if it's how correct English, but it's a translation
Yeah.
from French. Yeah,
We definitely get it. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, just the fact of the matter that a virus came and put everything on hold just shows you how fragile everything is actually, right?
yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely.
Yeah, and I really would like to thank you, Nicola, for being part of this podcast, and it's been a pleasure for me. It was a really nice conversation, and
Cool. Thank you, Ivan.
you are one of the artists that must be discovered, I guess, because it's your music is it's really authentic, and that's what I also love it about it, and unique in a way. So everybody who's listened to this podcast, go and check it out. You will find Nicola everywhere on the web, on especially on I think most of the people are on Instagram nowadays. I feel like Instagram is
Yeah,
it's getting bigger and bigger. So
yeah.
how can we find you, or how can people get your music, Nicola?
I guess, yeah. You just, I'm there. I'm on the market. So, and so, yeah. I mean, Spotify, Apple Music, Instagram, Bandcamp, of course, and yeah, wherever you are used to listen to music, I'm
Yeah,
around.
yeah.
Yeah.
I will leave definitely your links in the podcast description. And
Cool.
since it's the release date of Parrot, I guess, or I think we can listen to Parrot right now to finish the podcast. Are you okay with that,
Yeah. Cool.
Nicola?
Cool. That's great. That's
Shall we?
great, Ivan.
That's awesome. Is there anything else you want to say the world before we call it a day?
No, nothing special. Just to thank you and to say that I was
Yeah,
very glad to be part of this, and I think you welcomed other artists that I really like the Moscovich dance band or people
oh
like that.
yeah,
Yeah. And
yeah,
the
yeah. You know
podcast
them?
was
You know
great.
them guys? Yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah.
know them a
So
little. Yeah, I don't know them personally, but I followed what they do, and they're pretty
really
cool.
nice. Yeah, absolutely. I love their music too. They are really groovy.
Yeah,
Um, I'm
definitely.
really into
And
that
they
kind of.
mix a lot of influences, and yeah, I think
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
what I tend to do as well, which is great to
absolutely.
feel that some other people
Explore
are
sounds,
in the same
African.
spirit.
Yeah, Latin American sounds. There's great music around here. Talking about music genres, I always wonder what are some of the most representative artists from the well-known French chanson, right?
Mhm.
Am I pronouncing it right?
Yeah, chanson. Yeah. So what do you want
Chanson.
to know? Yeah. Who is
I want to.
the?
It
Yeah.
will be maybe interesting for some people because I know
Yeah.
probably just a little about it. So, what is the French chanson? Can you explain us a little?
Yeah, the what we call the chanson française, or
Yeah.
French songs,
Yeah.
is a tradition that goes way back in the 30s and the 40s, and I think it really thrived in the 50s and 60s and beginning of the 70s, and then maybe the genre in itself was maybe less interesting, but still
Uh-huh.
some good artists were there during the 80s and 90s as well. But
Oh,
of
nice.
course, the maybe the most well known guy is Jacques Brel.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Jacques Brel is a Belgian singer, but who was very famous in every French-speaking country, and
Mm-hmm.
he was a master. He was a wordsmith, and he was a very impressive performer as well, and that's how he was remembered. But yeah, some others were Léo Ferré was great. It's one of my favorite. Georges Brassens was kind of a philosopher slash
Mm-hmm.
singer songwriter, something very very special. So this is the great chanson tradition, but
Mhm.
and nowadays you have more and more bands, even like pop bands, who decide to sing in French, or at least partly in French, sometimes in English and in French, and yeah, to pay tribute to this tradition,
Yeah,
and to use the French language, which is uh, a pretty good medium for songs in general.
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. French is it's a beautiful language, especially when singing. And you also sing in French, no? Some of your songs are also in
Yeah,
French, no? You
some of my
both.
songs are. Yeah, I wanted to be honest concerning that. So since I spent most of my time speaking French, but a great part of my time as well speaking English.
Yeah,
I mean that's the same in my albums. The two languages are there.
awesome. So we learn a little bit about the French chanson, which is great. Podcast is great. We always learn something, and
Yeah,
looking forward to hearing some of those artists. Nicola, thank you so much. It was
cool.
fun, and let's hear Parrot.
Thank you, Ivan.
Bye, Nicola. Take care. See
Bye bye.
you
Take care.
hopefully someday in South America. If you ever come to South America on an international tour, just hit me up and we can
Of
have.
course, I would love to. It seems very far
Yeah, it's really
because of
far. It's
COVID and everything, but
yeah,
I would love. I've never been to South America, and I would love to definitely.
yeah, and
So and especially Ecuador because yeah, I'm Ecuador, Venezuela, Brazil, everything. I would like to go everywhere. But
nice place. Yeah, beautiful nature too. Lots of
oh yeah,
animals.
yeah,
Biodiversity. That's like the key word around here.
cool,
So, Nicola,
cool.
thank you so much. Goodbye.
Goodbye, and yeah,
Bye.
let's keep in touch. And thank you very much for this.
Absolutely, it was fun. See you. Bye bye.
Cool. Bye bye bye. Frustration of the fate, but the gods had no picture. You study in the past and you messed around the future. We all dreamt of a rise, but we kept waiting for permission. You've a head full of fire that you won't win the election. So listen to the words the parrot says and try to repeat. Listen to the words the parrot says and try to repeat. same pollution. Everlast thoughts for the light. Before darkness wins the auction, we poets in exile, and we were crappy little smokers. This was written in a file by someone in the ghetto. So listen to the words the pirate says and try to repeat. Listen to the words the pirate says and try to repeat. Is this a terminal world or just gripping entertainment? It was cries that I heard and it was coming from the basement. So listen to the words the pirate says and try to repeat. Listen to the words the pirate says and try to repeat. Listen to the words the pirate says and try to repeat. Listen to the words the pirate says and try to repeat. There's a scar on the back of my neck. I try not to show it. Just a thing from the past that I keep locked in my head. You're the nicest dream I've ever had. Got a picture of you where your hand cleans the sky in the meadow. Got a child that I carry around in the tray of my barrow. This was the nicest day we've ever shared, and you're the richest soil I'll ever sow. I can see wrinkles in the corners of your eyes. They mean we've been together for a long time. There's a wound on the bark of your soul. You don't talk about it. There's an oak that has grown wild and tall out of concrete. Still you the nicest dream I've ever had. Got a picture of you where your hand cleans the sky in the meadow. There's a child that I carry around
in the tray of my barrow. This was the nicest day we'll ever share. And you're the home I had been dreaming of. Now I can see you wearing us in the corner of your smile. It means we've been together for